If you want to consistently win in the markets, you absolutely need a verifiable edge. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact framework that gives you that kind of surgical precision, the one that moves you from being the hunted to becoming the hunter. Let's just stop and think about that for a second, because it's the absolute truth of trading. The market, it's not some random field of opportunity. No, it's a highly sophisticated engineered ecosystem. And without a statistically proven edge, you are, quite simply, the prey.
And this right here, this is the critical distinction. You see, on one side, you've got the hunted. They react emotionally, they're disorganized, and ultimately they just become fuel for the market. But on the other side, you have the hunter, operating with a real statistical edge, completely disciplined, and acting as the predator.
Now, our methodology isn't some brand new secret we just cooked up. Not at all. It's a synthesized framework built on the work of the industry's most respected educators. And what's amazing is that while they each have a unique way of teaching, they all point to the same fundamental market truths.
We have to start with a huge debt of gratitude to Stacy Burke. His contribution is this relentless, almost military-style focus on the basics. He teaches that the market only ever really does three things. It breaks out and keeps going, it breaks out and reverses, or it just chops around in a range. Mastery really does begin right here, with that kind of simplicity.
Building on that solid foundation, Naveen Prithyani teaches us the storytelling approach. He shows us how to read the narrative behind the candles, by asking, who's in control? Where's the real momentum? It's all about understanding the why behind what price is doing, making sure the wind is at our back before we even think about engaging.
And the technical bedrock of this entire framework? Well, that comes from the work of Michael J. Huddleston, who you probably know as ICT. His concepts of liquidity and fair value gaps are absolutely essential. They give us the lens to see the charts not as just a bunch of random patterns, but through the eyes of institutional value. It's a total game changer.
And finally, Wade Guth is the one who brings it all together. He gives us the blueprint for understanding the macro cycle of the market, that institutional order flow. His work lets us see the entire life cycle of a big move, which, believe me, is the key to not getting caught on the wrong side.
All right, now let's get to the heart of it. To really succeed, you have to learn to see the market like an institution. These concepts, they aren't just theory, they are the literal map of how smart money operates.
So first, we have to start seeing the market in terms of liquidity. These liquidity pools, they're just concentrations of orders sitting above highs and below lows. They aren't just price levels, they're the fuel that institutional algorithms are actively targeting to kick off and sustain their major moves. It's literally where they hunt for the volume they need.
Next up, we have fair value gaps. Okay, so when price moves really aggressively in one direction, it leaves behind an imbalance. These gaps, they act like magnets, literally drawing price back to rebalance before it continues on its intended path. They represent these high probability zones where institutions might be looking to get back into the market at a better price.
So understanding where institutions are targeting, that's half the battle. But timing your entries within the market's natural rhythm, well, that is the other, crucial half. Price has a predictable cadence, and you can absolutely learn to read it.
Wade Guth's master pattern is brilliant because it shows the three phases of pretty much every major move. It starts with contraction, which is where institutions are quietly accumulating their positions. Then comes expansion. That's the manipulative move designed to trap retail traders on the wrong side. And finally, you get the true trend where distribution happens. Recognizing these phases is how you stay on the right side of the money.
Building on that, Stacy Burke's 3-day cycle gives us a kind of chronological map. Over a rolling 72-hour period, we can often anticipate what the market's going to do. Day 1 often sets a false move. Day 2 gives you the real trend. And day 3, that's often a reversal or the exhaustion of that trend. It's an incredibly powerful timing template. And this brings us right back to those crucial questions from Naveen Prithyani. I mean, you can have the perfect setup, but if you don't know who is in control of the market right now, you're basically flying blind. These questions force us to read the present story, the living narrative of the chart as it unfolds.
Okay, so we have all these powerful concepts, but how do we remove the guesswork, the emotion, the subjectivity of it all? How do we actually verify that we have an edge? This is where we shift from trading as an art to trading as a science.
This is our core philosophy, and for us, it is absolutely non-negotiable. If you cannot define your strategy with enough clarity and precision to translate it into an algorithm, you don't truly have an edge. Discretion is often just a nice word for inconsistency. Code forces objectivity.
See, coding your strategy forces it to face the cold, hard reality of math. By tracking key metrics like expectancy, drawdown, and even MFE/MAE to optimize your exits, we can prove, over hundreds of trades, that your system has a positive edge. It's about knowing, statistically, that for every single dollar you risk, you have a built-in advantage that will pay out over time.
And we don't just teach you this stuff and leave you on your own. We provide the tools to make it a reality. We're talking about interactive on-chart checklists that enforce discipline, all the way to multi-time frame scanners that automatically find these high-probability setups for you across dozens of markets. We bridge that gap between concept and execution.
Our curriculum is structured chronologically for a very specific reason. Each module layers logically right on top of the last, building a cohesive and complete system for achieving mastery. We start with the simple foundations of market action, and we build all the way up to algorithmic execution. It's a clear path forward.
Look, the path from prey to hunter is demanding. It requires discipline and a serious commitment to a structured, proven process. But it is the only path that leads to consistent profitability in this engineered ecosystem. So the only question left is, are you ready to start the hunt?